Hey, we're going live. Just a minute. We're waiting for Felicia Spencer to join us, and we'll start talking. How you feeling today, Jay?
I'm feeling great. It looks like we are live officially now, I think.
Right on. So we're just waiting for the little indication to come up.
Is that.
There we go.
There you go.
Here comes Felicia.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. This is cool. I've never done this before. How
Well,
are you
that
guys
makes
doing?
that makes three of us. We haven't done like this either.
Oh, cool.
So, for everybody in the audience, of course, this is Felicia Spencer, the contender from the big fight about a week ago. Felicia, wow, wow. That's all we can say. We were watching that fight. We were so excited and so proud to be associated with you. And how are you feeling?
I feel great. It's nice to have a little bit of, time at home and, get to see a few people. It still has, with everything going on, it's still kind of we're laying low for the most part. But
Right?
I got to see a few people I haven't seen for a while and doing good though. Feel good.
Your star has risen tremendously. Like your follower count has doubled in the last week and a half. What else
Yeah.
exciting is happening that you're seeing?
It just, like always, even last summer when I had the big fight, I just the support that I'm getting is just so, it's so humbling, but so nice at the same time, and it's nice. I'm just enjoying, like I said, it's been like a long 6 months for me with training. So I had a fight, that I did in February and then a very long camp for this fight. So, just kind of just soaking things in and just kind of laying low. But
Right?
it's really nice to have the UFC up and running and you're doing a lot of great things
It,
for athletes,
from
keeping it
our
going.
perspective, being involved with sports and having all sports closed down, it's really heartwarming to see the fights happening again, and gyms coming back online, and folks just getting back on the fields and starting to play sports again. The other day, we were at a lacrosse field doing impressions of the girls on the lacrosse team, and that just felt so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Everything seems like it's so close to becoming normal, but I'm sure everything will be different to some degree. Like they'll never be like it used to be, but probably for good reason.
Yeah, so we'll move on to a new normal, right?
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
just tell us, and we'll get into some of the questions and the idea behind this live cast in a moment. But what for you was the difference between walking into the ring with a huge crowd and no crowd?
Um, I was kind of looking forward to it. I was excited to see how it would feel. I think I'm one of those fighters where the crowd doesn't give me like the extra pop or the extra energy. Um, although I enjoy it. My dog is gonna come crash our interview here.
Good.
He'll probably pop up in a second back there. Either way, yeah, no, I was looking forward to it. I thought it would kind of have more like a gym feel, like you're in the gym, especially the way that I've been training for this fight. It was a silent gym, no one else there, so it's
Right.
just me, a training partner, and a coach, so just, and we would do quiet rounds for the reason, knowing that we would have this quiet fight.
Yeah.
So it was, I was kind of looking forward to seeing how it would feel, and it kind of felt like how I thought, kind of just like you're being at the gym, just focus on the fight, focus on your opponent, your coaches, and that's really, it worked out pretty good. But for me, I don't really soak in the crowd too much normally until after the fight, so it can go either way for me.
Interesting that you trained for the no crowd situation.
Yeah, definitely. Like if we brought it up, like, oh, maybe let's turn down the music. Yeah, so there was some, we kind of joked about it, like, but in the end, it's like I'm glad we had a couple rounds where we kind of joked about having no sound, no music or anything. So
Right. Well, Felicia, fantastic. We're just so proud. Now, our journey together started a few years ago with you actually becoming a customer of ours.
yeah,
And
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, yours was the first, non-Walmart kind of mouthpiece that I got, like a custom mouthpiece. This was the first one, and I ended up having some sponsors with a couple others, but I was like, man, it's just not the same as the one I got. So then I reached out, appreciating how much I liked your mouth guards. So I was very happy to be sent one, sent a new one.
Right. For
They only
us,
last a few years.
for us, that's a wonderful way to get together is when an athlete such as yourself loves our product and then presents themselves as a person who'd like to be sponsored by us. There's a different level of, I don't know what the word is, but commitment or a work togetherness that you had, which was really exciting for us.
Thanks. Yeah, I always try to be genuine, with everything. So, for the most part, like when I'm reaching out, I know there was probably a lot of athletes, watching or that might watch. So, I usually just try to reach out to what I think about, okay, what do I use? What kind of products or, what do I like and what do I use? And that's who I normally would reach out to, potentially start a relationship. I have to like it before I, would reach out. So
Yeah.
definitely the best advice.
Well, we're glad you love the product, and we love working with you. And I'm going to let Jack jump in here in a second, but our focus or our idea behind doing these telecasts or these live casts are to help athletes who are just getting started and they're looking for sponsorships, or maybe they have sponsorships and they want to grow that sponsorship base. We're trying to help them understand what to do and how to do it along the way. We're learning ourselves. We're a company that sponsors athletes. And naturally, lots of athletes may be watching us now, but that's the perspective we're coming at this with. And we really just started. I think this is our second or third live telecast like this. But Jack, I'm sure you have some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of wrote down a couple questions that we wanted to talk about with you and then kind of see where the rabbit hole takes us. But I guess the first question that I had is, did you always seek sponsors along the way? Or is that kind of more recent for you?
I did to some degree for, when I was starting out, as most fighters, kind of just broke and not, just the medicals, spending that $100 on medicals or whatever getting to the location. For me, I had to travel, by car for a few hours for a lot of the beginning fights, and then after my third fight, I was out of state, so just those kinds of expenses. I had a gym friend of mine, Trapper Joe, we call him. He has a animal trapping company. He was my first sponsor, Wildlife Trappers, and I still have the shorts. He put the logo. He paid for his logo to go on my shorts, and he paid for my medicals, which was it was amazing. Like at the time, that was like, oh my God, this is how it works, So that was my first fight. That was my first sponsor, and forever grateful for him and his support. And I would say, yeah, when you're starting out, look to the people around you. There are people at your gym that want to help out athletes, but you have to be someone that they want to help, so you being like just desperately, acting out or I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to be a likable person. You have to make
Right.
people want to help you and they feel good about doing it, especially when they're close to you. And then eventually you branch out, so a lot of the first sponsors I had were just connections through friends and, friends of friends who wanted to help. So you just kind of have to present it like that. And you can expect to be beginning out your career and be getting money like that. That's usually just money for no purpose. Like if I got money, it was for a specific, I need the medicals done. I need the hotel purchased or the plane ticket. So I always presented it like, this is what I specifically need. You're not just giving me cash to go blow on whatever I want.
Yeah.
Right.
Most of the time, the beginning sponsorships are just like you said, like getting a mouthpiece or supplements, maybe that kind of stuff. So you really can't. You have to be reasonable, as an athlete coming up and have a good attitude about it.
And Felicia, as you were seeking the sponsorships, did you lay out what you would do for them or how you'd help the sponsors?
Yeah, as things progress, I became, more on social media and stuff like that. It was definitely like the driving force for being more active on it. Just offering, and also understanding, especially at first, that even though I'm going to be promoting, I don't expect that everyone that watches my feed is going to buy everything I post about. So having those realistic expectations, but at least being able to be genuine on your social media about what you like and what you like about the products is really important. So that way it's more natural, so you don't want to always seem like you're selling something. I try not to ever sound like that. yeah, being basically how I would break it down is as I became a professional and I started to get, a little bit more sponsors that would offer money and that kind of thing. Still usually just through connections of people I knew,
Mm-hmm.
still nothing, you know, Gatorade wasn't sponsoring me, still not.
Right.
But just presenting it like, hey, if I can get this, then I will, for 8 weeks up to the fight, at least once a week, I'll post this, and at least one time, and I'll mention you in the tags, and then
Right.
after the fight, additional 2 weeks, I would usually do like a 10-week span of, hey, I'm going to be sure to post and share, and just hold your logo up, on my banner when
That's
I was allowed to have a banner, on my clothing, so just kind of offer those kinds of packages, I call them, and you know, kind of just faking it till I make it, to be honest. I didn't really know how it worked.
right.
But
Right.
I
Well,
think everyone has a similar kind of, you know, route.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with faking it till you make it. We get a lot of requests from athletes that just say something as simple, "Hey, I'm an MMA fighter, sponsor me." And they
Yeah,
just don't get that it's a two-way street. They're just
you're right.
have an expectation that since they're a fighter or since they're doing X, that we should want to give them something. But
Yeah.
yeah, you made it a pleasure. It's always been easy to work with you, going back and forth, and we certainly count on what you've done for us.
Yeah, and I mean, with the word genuine, like you said earlier, with Frank and I, when we go on these live videos and explain about our sponsorship program and talk to people, we just want them to be genuine. We don't want them to be the next Felicia Spencer, just like you were saying. They
Yeah.
just have to have a love for the product, and that's incredible. We love to hear that.
And for what they're doing. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and a great passion.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely the best, the best advice. And also just like I said, you know, the expectation that, you can't hold yourself to an expectation that every time you post, there's going to be a huge reaction to
Right.
something. You
Yeah.
have to be very realistic about, how things work. And, but yeah, it's coming down to it. Like you said, just if it's genuine, then it'll come across that way, and then you don't have to stress about it. If people,
Yeah. Do you have any funny or weird experiences with companies and sponsorships?
you know, I've been really lucky. I've had all good, interactions. Like I said, I've usually don't have relationships with people that I don't already kind of trust or anything like that. But I guess there was another mouthpiece that I got before I reached out to you guys. They had reached out to me. They sent me the custom kit and everything, and then the mouthpiece came back and it was like this big. Like, it was like a kid's mouthpiece. I was like, that doesn't fit in my mouth at all. And I have a fight coming up. I can't. And they're like, oh no, that's supposed to be. It's a tight. It's a small. It's right. It's right. And I'm like,
This is
no, it's not. So I just said thank you and I ended up actually putting it in, hot water and giving it to my daughter for her to wear, and it fit her great. So I was like, okay, cool. That definitely wouldn't have helped me.
Right.
But I was always really thankful, and I tried to be as gracious as I could be, that I really appreciated the product being sent, but it just wasn't going to work for me.
When we get feedback that is not positive, we like that because we will then make another guard for that person. These are custom guards, right? So what you become used to in terms of mouth guards is maybe different than what Jack is used to. And so we like that kind of feedback.
Right, yeah, and that one was just definitely not gonna fit. I think it would have fit like inside of my teeth. But yeah, you always have to be, especially if someone's, having this relationship with you as an athlete, you want to be open and honest about the product. I have a great relationship with a company called The Other Side. It's again, another friend at the gym started a company she's very passionate about. She wants to eventually expand, but right now she's doing hand wraps.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing you've ever used before. And I, I was part of the prototype process because she trusted that I would be honest with the product, and I gave her some tips about things I would do different. And then now it's the only hand wraps I ever used for like the last 3 years is that one. So it's,
Right.
you have to be open and comfortable enough, especially with a new product, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
like that's what they want. So
Felicia, we've been doing some contests, or I should say giveaways, not really contests, but maybe you could connect us with The Other Side and we could do something jointly.
For sure, for sure. I actually have a couple wraps that I'm able to give away also just at right here in my home. So,
Okay.
but I'll definitely connect you guys. She's definitely, looking to just make a network,
Yeah.
so
So maybe we'll do the giveaway with you. I'm sure you'll coordinate that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We'll talk about that after, and we'll make something happen.
that sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah, what else? What else, Jay?
What's next with your sponsorship or your fighting journey? What do you have coming up? What are your plans?
I plan to just hang out, kind of relax a little bit, and I know there'll be, I'm sure, new opportunities that present themselves. That kind of, uh, you know, with how crazy the last 6 months have been, I was like, okay, after this, I'm just gonna see what happens. I didn't make any expectations, like obviously I intended to win the fight and have those opportunities come, but I knew that it was a possibility that I wouldn't, and I would still just kind of be open to new possibilities. I ended up, sorry, there's a plane. I don't know if you can hear that. There's a small airport kind of close. I don't know if you can hear that. But actually, I was a full-time teacher up until May. So last month, I officially resigned from my full-time teaching position to kind of do this, to kind of, after the fight, be able to just take in new opportunities as they came, have a little bit of not just time to relax like I'm doing now, but also just to be able to do new things, to see what's out there and see what kind of new relationships I can build with maybe new sponsors or
Sure.
new possibilities without having the extra work.
What grade did
going
you
on.
teach?
It was I taught for Florida Virtual School. It's algebra, so it was between 6th to 12th grade, usually ninth grade. But I got advanced 6th graders and seniors trying to graduate too. So
Did they know what your hobby was?
some of them did. I feel like maybe the online platform, they just didn't like Google your teacher as much as we did in high school, So I think some of them did. Mostly the ones that would know who I am, they trained jujitsu or something, and they kind of just knew the scene already.
Yeah.
There was a couple that had brought it up that weren't involved, and they were just like, hey, I found out I saw you on Google, I was like, okay. I didn't like really bring it up, but if they brought it up to me, I'd talk to them about it a little bit.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting fact about your teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, one of them actually was like, oh, I guess if you can be a teacher and a fighter for the UFC, I guess I can do my homework every night.
That's good.
If you don't, I'm coming to get you.
I made it. I helped one kid. All worth it.
That's great. Felicia, normally with these live videos, we like to be interactive as possible and have questions from the audience. And our man Cool Pie behind the camera usually writes down some questions or sees what people are asking. Would you be open to answering a few of the questions?
Yeah, for sure. I've been seeing some of the comments as they come through. You guys are really making me feel good here.
It's so wonderful that people are tuning in and listening to us and hearing your story. What do you got, Cool Pie?
Mostly are just comments about how great you are in the ring. A bunch of heart eye emojis. People really adore you.
Thank you. Yeah, I see a lot of that. You guys are really awesome. Oh, hi, Khadijah. Oh, she's one of my students.
That's pretty cool too, because it seems like people are from all over the world. I think I just saw one from Brazil, somebody from India. That's incredible.
Yeah, love her.
Those are awesome.
To everybody who's listening and watching, thanks for tuning in for sure.
Yeah, no problem. I just saw a question about my next fight. I do have a broken nose, so I need a few months probably before, or at least a month with no contact, and probably either end of the year or early next year. I definitely had a few in a row and need a little bit of time to recuperate and be healthy and smart about my next move. So maybe the end of this year, early next year.
For sure. I think you're right. Some big opportunities are going to come your way soon, if they're not already. Yeah.
Anything else, Cool Pie?
Not so far that I can see. I don't know, they're popping up too fast.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of love.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Everyone down there.
So tell us, as we get ready to close up, sum up your advice to fighters again in, not necessarily fighters, but any athlete looking for sponsorship. Sum it up in a sentence for us if you can.
Yeah, if you're an athlete, looking for sponsorships, being realistic is honest and realistic. Those are the two things I always think about. I can't act like I'm gonna be able to just turn around and sell your product to, all 10 of my friends.
Right.
You have to be realistic with what you can do, but also be optimistic. I'm not trying to sound like, oh, this doesn't work. Like, you have to have optimism too, and you have to really believe that, with your honest, opinions and your honest feedback, that maybe not the first time you post something, maybe like the 10th time someone reads something about it, they'll be like, let me go look at this. So I get, and that's more than one sentence. I'm sorry, but
No, it's okay.
yeah, just be realistic, but also be genuine. So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
our expectation is not that a sponsored athlete's going to immediately go out and sell tons of stuff, but more we want to develop a relationship. We want to get to know you. We want to be part of your journey that you're taking. Add to it where we can, help you where we can, and just be. In our case, it's like a family thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just just focusing on the relationship for sure.
That's right.
What
That's
you
right.
can do. I saw someone asked about my forehead. It went down pretty quickly. A hematoma on your forehead is like a 1-day thing, so I have a little.
You've
Pretty,
now
pretty
experienced a good hematoma on your forehead, that's for sure.
yeah. So I had some stitches here that are healing up still, but yeah, the forehead's good. The hat is to cover the stitches. Fun fact: if you've ever had a cut on your head, especially, you don't want the sun to hit it because it's going to make the scar worse. So I'm trying to make sure that doesn't scar up too much. So I'm trying to cover it with the sun. So I know a lot of fighters are here, so just a little fun fact. Exactly.
How to protect yourself from the sun and scar.
Yeah,
Let me ask you,
scar therapy is important.
Andrew, anything else come up that we missed?
Well, I remember earlier in the stream, someone said, it wasn't really a question, but someone said that they felt like they couldn't really, get in the ring, and they kind of felt low on their confidence. What would you say to someone like that?
To build your confidence, it's just another day at the gym. That's something I tell myself, and my coaches tell me. They told me a lot in my Invicta days. Like, every time I would go, it's another day at the gym. It's another sparring day. Once in a while in sparring, you get that one new guy that's coming in a little rough, like a little bit too hard. They're kind of being a dick on the sparring day. This is that person that's just trying to hurt you on sparring day. So you just have to be a little extra careful. But it's what I do every Friday night. So it's just a Saturday this time. That's really, like, mentally, that's what really turned things around, is just thinking about, I do this all the time. This is just, the stakes are different, the people watching are different, but
Right.
you just feel a little extra careful on this sparring day. It really for me, that line really made a difference.
Yeah, it shows.
Yeah. I mean, Felicia, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to us and do this. I mean, the past couple of weeks, you've been incredible to us. We couldn't have asked much more. So thank you so much. Thank you.
And on behalf of all the athletes watching, thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. It was really fun. Thank you, everyone, again, for the support down there.
We'll be in touch soon.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.